To you, Nicole Wallace starts now.
Hi, everyone. It's 4 o'clock in New York. Standing between the momentous House vote to impeach Donald Trump and the prospect of a trial in the Senate, Donald Trump is ending his year making the kind of history he did not want to make, becoming the third president in U.S. history to be impeached by the House of Representatives. The woman running the House, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, is making history herself as the highest-ranking and most powerful woman serving in elective office, the only woman to ever hold the position of Speaker, a position she's held twice. We have watched Nancy Pelosi square off against Donald Trump and refuse to back down, even in the face of his bullying and constant harassment, which came to a head when she presided over the historic House vote on impeachment.
Today, as Speaker of the House, I solemnly and sadly open the debate on the impeachment of the President of the United States. It is a matter of fact that the President is an ongoing threat to our national security and the integrity of our elections, the basis of our democracy. He says, Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. No, it doesn't. Today, we are here to defend democracy for the people. He gave us no choice.
She was challenged at the outset of her speakership by her own party about whether she was the right person to take on Trump. And again, after the Mueller report, when she resisted moving forward with Trump's impeachment. Yet amidst all that, over and over, she's proven herself to be the president's most skilled adversary, landing the most damaging political blows to the president. Iconic moments like at the State of the Union, when she essentially broke the internet with the clap examined around the world, effectively upstaging Trump without saying a word, walking out of a White House meeting with the president that she described afterward as a presidential meltdown. Trump responded by tweeting a photo in which he called her unhinged. But to the rest of the world, the relationship looked quite different. Pelosi was the one person in the room with the courage to stand up to Trump. And as she banged the gavel on Trump's impeachment vote, sealing his fate in the history books forever, many of her constituents started to clap. But clad in her black dress, she shushed them with a hand gesture. It was a somber time, not to be celebrated. And with one look, she illustrated her command of her caucus once again.
On this vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 197, present is 1. Article 1 is adopted.
That's where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Associated Press White House reporter Jonathan Lemire, editor-at-large for the conservative commentary site The Bulwark, Charlie Sykes, Chief Public Affairs Officer for MoveOn.org, Karine Jean-Pierre, and former Chief Spokesman for the Department of Justice, Matt Miller. She is his kryptonite.
She is. We've talked for a while how effective Donald Trump has been when he has a foil. We know that during the campaign, he was sort of really matched himself one-on-one with Hillary Clinton and did a job tearing her down. And we sort of wondered as he was president who that would be. And Nancy Pelosi has been that foil, but to this point, time and time again, has beaten him. And I think that is something that has...
He may be her foil.
That may be so. That has unnerved him and those around him. He has told people, according to our reporting, that he has never really got a handle on how to deal with her. Because remember, when he sort of cheered on her election to the speakership, he told people he thought he could work with her. They had worked together in the past when he was a private citizen. That he felt like that she's someone who he could do deals with. And there certainly has been some legislation passed, including the new NAFTA, the new trade deal. But more than that, she has been a real thorn in his side and has gotten the best of him time and time again. Some of those moments that you just mentioned, or we played the video, especially that State of the Union clap that we'll always remember, but in particular how she has navigated this impeachment saga, where she was reluctant to do so during the Russia investigation. That was, she had said before, that those were not moments where she felt the party was there. That didn't necessarily call for impeachment. But her hand was forced with what happened with Ukraine. And she has navigated this beautifully. She's held her team together. She's held her party together. And here we are. He is now the third president of the United States impeached, in part because of how masterfully she's landed this.
Charlie, I was skeptical of the decision to let all of the Mueller findings land and do nothing. Right. And not just of Democrats, but the Democrats and Republicans didn't go through that report and censure the president or hold hearings, do more. But what she did by doing nothing in the wake of that report was establish in the public's mind her deep and genuine reluctance to take this step. And I think the fact that impeachment has in polls, close to 50% of all Americans support Donald Trump's removal from office.
Yeah.
We're less than a year from the next election, and half the country wants him removed through this process.
Well, you know, I'm going to admit that I completely underestimated Nancy Pelosi, and the way that she has risen to this occasion really is extraordinary. I agree with everything that Jonathan said. You know, you think that, you know, Donald Trump famously said that when you're a celebrity, women will let you do anything. Well, she's proving that that's not the case. Right? I mean, but also she's a legislative master. I agreed with you. I did question. I thought that the Mueller report laid out such strong charges that she could have moved ahead. But I think she understood where public opinion was, where her caucus was, and she never gets out ahead of her caucus. And I think that vote on impeachment was so extraordinary, the way that she held all of those representatives who have to go home to districts that Donald Trump won. You know, we don't have many profiles in political courage out there. You did see that, but Nancy Pelosi brought them along, provided them cover, and is really one of the most masterful parliamentarians of our time.
She's also building the bigger political tent. She had, singing from her songbook, Justin Amash, who's a former Republican, a former founder of the Freedom Caucus, all of the members of the most progressive wing of her party, sort of the national security Democrat, all making the same points. And Charlie's talking, I think part of the reason Republicans who aren't Trump supporters admire her so much is because of this hole in our hearts about the lack of political courage or talent on the right.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi is going to go down as one of the most influential, powerful speaker in history, full stop. She has managed to outmaneuver Donald Trump at every turn. And I'm going to quote Cardi B. She has dog-walked Donald Trump at every turn for all the youngsters who are watching.
Charlie?
Thank you. You're going to get her on about that later podcast.
But it's just been phenomenal to watch her. And I doubted her, too. The same thing. When the Mueller report came out, I thought, we need to impeach. And because she held it off, it made it her argument to finally get to impeachment was even more emboldened because she could say, I didn't want to do this. And so she has been masterful, legislatively masterful in holding her caucus, controlling her caucus. And one more thing that she did that no other speaker has done against any president on article of impeachment is she got the most votes, 230. Right. And then the second one, 229. I mean, she is someone that needs to be studied on how you do this right, how you strategize, how you run your conference, how you be speaker, and how to be the most powerful woman in an elected office.
I mean, the other thing she is, Trump defeated 16 Republicans in the primary. Trump defeated a political powerhouse in Hillary Clinton. The Democrats who wish to replace Donald Trump in 2020 can pull some lessons from her. And granted, she's a master of a very different body, but she's also mastered the asymmetry. She knows how and when to get in his face and point her finger at him and humiliate him in front of generals and other men sitting at the table. But she knows when to pull back and work with him on legislation.
She has never been afraid of him from the beginning. And it's come clear in every interaction that they have. And especially when you see the two of them on camera. One of the things about Trump, every time you see him in any room, he dominates the room. It's true. It's been true. It's true of the Republican debates when he was on stage with very accomplished political figures, and he dominated that stage. Even if he was saying ridiculous things, he still was kind of the presence. You see him in the room with Nancy Pelosi. She's always the one dominating the room. Yeah. It is a remarkable thing. And I will say, I put me in the category of people who underestimated her. You know, there was a big debate going into this election whether she was the right person to lead Democrats. Yeah. I worried a lot about it because I thought not because she was too old or too liberal from San Francisco. I thought it was a problem for our party to have someone who was so well known be the face of change. Yeah. I couldn't have been more wrong. Yeah. And I think people that doubted her ability to run this caucus couldn't have been more wrong as well. She has shown the ability to unite all the factions of the party, to hold off the liberals who wanted to impeach Trump too early, and to bring the conservatives and moderates along who weren't sure about impeaching him when the time came. It has been, I think, a masterful effort to watch.